a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas and we have wonderful guests. And I have a guest favorite tonight that you all enjoy, and let me bring Jenny Lee on.
Can you hear me?
Welcome, Jenny.
Hey, how are you?
Doing? I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, just about 90% done packing, and so I'm ready to move next week into a different state.
Oh, wow. That's always fun. Not.
Yeah.
But it'll be good once you get there.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. So
anyway, today we're going to talk about futuristic living and futuristic healing modalities. So that will include what some refer to as medbeds or celestial chambers or what have you. I don't know. Where do you want to start?
I want to. I don't think people are getting the accurate understanding of the future. I think, and this is what I think, what you're seeing, these what you call these devices, beds that they're putting out, I don't think those are even close to the advancement that's really the real advanced med beds, because those look too common. And I mean, we're in a different, higher technology of understanding, and the way they work and how the energy works with them and everything. So, I mean, there's so much mixed information around this because everybody is saying one thing or another. You haven't seen the military step up or say anything. They slowly leak information out the way it needs to be presented, and they know how to spread it out. But the thing is, there's no actual film footage of the devices. They're giving you a glimpse of what they could look like, but I am pretty sure they have not really showed on a public platform what they really look like.
The real thing. We have not seen it. Yeah.
So that's the thing, is people are really not seeing it for what they're assuming, because what the media is showing you, what they're saying, okay, show them this view of this technology. Because a long time ago, I got one that was standing, that you can get in, see them and view them from a standing position. Your body's in a standing position on some of them too. So in the future, these are so common. It's like they said, like kiosks, and they're easy to access, and that's in the future after we get to a certain point. But the problem is everybody has an assumption of what they are. Everybody has these leaks of having the advanced technology, but this is the thing that convinces me. I'm not seeing the military stand by them. These civilians are signing these contracts or having the background checks. I'm not seeing that. That doesn't convince me on anything until I see that. So what I'm saying, what the military is known for doing is keeping things very secret, very much in the background, but leaking information the way they need to leak it. This is the thing about the military. They just put things out there and are very upfront to what they're going to do, and they're going to leave it like that. You take it and you accept the way they're going to present it. That's it. They're not going to sit there and discuss it. But you have these people that are saying they have knowledge, they know about the med beds, all this stuff. I mean, it's the same thing as you say, you hear these Navy SEALs giving information. They can't give that out either. They know better, So I'm just saying there's a lot of mixed information, and they're really stirring up the mix of the details of these devices. We're not looking far enough in the advancement of future. You have to go way beyond what you're seeing for these medbeds, higher technology. For some device to cure what you have in 30 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes, you got to look in the conscience of the mind and go beyond that. The advancement, the technology that they are in. So I think what you're getting on the media, what you're seeing, is a lot of people that are presenting these ideas and planting them in your head and what they're supposed to look like. You gotta stop doing that, because that's putting an idea and telling you, again, another program, presenting it to you. This is the only way it's going to be. And we really have to sit outside the box on this and think way advanced technology, way advanced. For, limbs to be recreated, for age progression to go back, to cure all kinds of diseases. It's really funny because people are using that name, and you're seeing them get into these devices. And, and what I've heard a long time ago, to even get near that type of energy, to get into these, it's got to be you got to be well protected. They're not understanding how these are. That is the point that people are not getting. And that's why they're keeping everything pretty secured, in advancement. This is the thing. If the elite in Hollywood had these technologies, trust me, they would have used them already. They haven't, because that's why they were sitting down there sucking down adrenaline on that stuff. You know what I mean? So, because they would have used them already. It doesn't make any sense, right? I'm just saying.
They certainly have the money to pay for it if that was required.
Been the fountain of youth, right?
Right.
Why they're doing this. So they didn't have the technology. They didn't have it. It was never given to them at all. So again, it's the media propaganda that they're putting out there, because they would have used them. They're so vain.
Well, that's why they were using adrenochrome too.
Well, they were using adrenochrome. That's the choice they had. You know what I'm saying? That's the nearest thing that they have, and then they got addicted to it. But what I'm saying is that they had a choice, and you had this technology, this advancement. Trust me, they would have been underneath those med beds by now. They haven't. They weren't. All they were doing was sucking down a red juice. So the problem is, this is the problem. The media is just feeding what people think things are going to be like, because that is the program of what it looks like, what it's advanced into. They're not understanding that you can't get that close to these devices the way that they think you can just walk into it. It's not a tanning bed. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to just stand.
That's how they picture them.
They're not understanding and underestimating the energy that these have to do that to a body in any way. They're well guarded by the military. They're well trained by the military. There is no civilian, and I'm going to say this across the board, and they can prove me wrong on this. I'd love it. I would love it. There's no civilian contractor that has the accessibility to these beds, period.
Or how they're made.
Prove me wrong.
They're ET tech, aren't they?
Yes. Prove me wrong. And that's why I'm tired of Sky Princess bullshit. I'm tired of these other subcontractors saying they have it. You see pictures on TikTok. You see them everywhere. It's just all crap. And people need to start shutting them down, because I guarantee you, once these real original beds come out, they'll be gone. They'll disappear. They'll go in their hole. They'll be gone, because they can't compete with the real ones that are coming out. And it's not that it's coming out and it's just going to be a few beds. It's not. they're going to be everywhere, put in a position in, say, a mile radius of how you can make the appointments and how you get there and all that stuff. So I'm just telling you, there's a lot of bullshit that's not adding up on that. And it's been going on because it's a clickbait. It
yes,
people want to get
a good one.
well. Yeah. And then you get the scammers. They're everywhere on all this whole process of things. And I know with the military, everything is, it's shut their mouth. Don't say nothing. These people don't know anything about these beds. The military does.
And they're not talking.
No, they're not. And if they need to, they know how to get that information out there with the sources that they need. And it's through the military. They don't need YouTube. Period. So, like I said, in the end, you're going to know the truth. It's going to be seen in black and white. And this is the thing, because I get emails all the time about this subject, over and over. And I'm addressing it because I'm tired of hearing about it. For what I'm seeing right now, I believe that everything's behind the red curtain. And they're not going to show you anything. And then the advancement of the technology that these have, then you'll be shocked and going, boy, we were lied to in a big way by the media, of course, So that's the whole thing. We have to get past the technology that's coming in with the advancement of these devices, and not just with, curing ourselves, but maintaining and the robotic engineering that we're going to be developing in, the cell phones. Everything is connected to the phone. I think the advancement is going to be everything that's dialed in is dialed into the new advancement of the phones that they have. And whether they use them as, they call them as phones, but it has everything on it, all the technology. I mean, the whole futuristic system, you can't lie. You can't deceive anything. You can't, that's the whole process that I think people still in that mindset, they're going to be able to deceive everything, and they can't. You're not going to be able to access money. You're not going to be able to do certain things because you can't be deceitful in this process. So, and then the way you watch movies, the advancement of that, how we walk in, and you think you feel like you're literally walking in the movie, in the advancement of the technology that's coming with that too. So, I mean, we have to wrap our heads around, way past the Jetsons on this situation. And you're not going to see it. Like I said, you watch Elon Musk, he's talking about it, he's presenting it, he's showing you, and they're all trying to distract you and keep you off what he's doing, and trying to present it to you in a very high conscious way. And you just got to be paying attention to that stuff on a daily basis now.
A Baja girl says, well, then a lot of people won't make the med beds. We've all been through hell. It's always not easy having high vibes. Try telling someone to be happy and you might get punched.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
People are at their wits' end. They really are. They're really being pushed to the limits.
Well, they are too. And there's certain levels of, I'd say, it's not that they haven't been in use. I think they have been in use, but it's under a secured location and a secured clearance to be able to pick certain individuals, how they're doing it, how they're testing it, and the outcome, and how the society is going to adapt to it. Just because they put these out there doesn't mean everybody's going to jump on board with it. There's many out there that we have knowledge of it and we're okay with it. But you guys got to understand too, there's a lot out there that's going to go, I can't do that. And they're so used to their drugs, and they're so used to their medication. They're so used to the pain. It's a codependency process. And so even just to society has to get to a point of even counseling them to even trust the situation to go through these technologies. Your elders are the most elder in the process, but they're such in an old school way. They're going to have the hardest time with this. You know, that it's a hard process for them, and it's not only that, with the money too, the technology of the money and how things are advanced. They're used to the old ways, and so
well, especially if they haven't heard anything about the new ways and don't pay any attention to it. That's the killer right there, because
so advising these people, they need to be an advocate of advising these people and how they can feel comfort in doing it and feeling comfortable about doing it. This is people are not looking at this process that has to step in. This is big on many levels, and the elders are the ones that always get behind on things and get lost on things, and they need, and of course, you know, with their supplement of how they're going to pay them and everything else. I mean, we're not looking at that in the way how the chain effect, the chain reaction is going to affect these elders and how it's going to come out. They're not going to accept it the same way. And then this is the thing too. Everybody thinks their cells is the priority, what they're going through, and it's just they're not going to run it that way. I mean, and I understand why it's behind closed doors and the way that they're doing it, because they have to, because the collapse that's going to happen and turning another direction instead of having to go to your doctor and having to get medication and all this stuff. I mean, there's an epidemic that's happening right now. No one that I know is going to the doctor anymore. They're figuring everything out on their own, how they heal themselves, what can help them. I mean, I've had so many people that are like, well, I'm not going to do surgery. They're like dead set. They're like, I'll go in that hospital and I won't come back out. I mean, it's
you're right. I hear a lot of that too. People are going, I'm not going, I'm avoiding it. Yeah.
They know. So I want you to, on the tail end of how much money they're losing daily, when's the last time you guys went to the hospital and saw it crowded? It's like a ghost town now. Society has accepted that these doctors are not there to help them.
Yeah, so
they think they're getting paid.
I see this a lot. I won't go to the doctor.
No.
I won't either. I don't. If I was in a car accident, I guess I would. But, you know, other than that, no way.
No, I mean, people are not.
They've seen what went on in the last 4 years. And it really makes them think twice. Doctors are scammers. Doctors are drug pushers.
It doesn't matter if it's a small town, big town, whatever it is. The trust is gone.
Yeah.
We do not trust those institutions anymore.
Right.
And the propaganda of the doctors getting paid for every little thing that they do and the bonuses that they do, we already know how it's going to lay out. I mean, when they start to get into the investigation of the doctors and how they start getting charged now, all this stuff. I mean, so we're already bending to another direction that's going to help advancement of how we're going to heal. We're already starting to bend that way. But like I said, there's parts of society that's going to get lost in this as we go through this golden age and we flip through this process. And so you got the medical side of the medbeds and you got the financial side. And I still, and that's why I say both areas the elders are going to get lost in this because we're in this mad rush to get things going, but the elders, they're not even at the point of accepting it. And so there has to be a society that they have to form and help them understand this and trust it, because the trust is going to be the hardest thing for ourselves. We don't trust at all. We don't trust banks. We don't trust doctors. We don't trust nurses. We don't trust education. The whole thing.
We don't trust lawyers, the courts.
I don't know. I got a pretty good lawyer.
You do? I don't.
Yeah, I got a good one. But
well, Admiralty law is not good, though. That's the only thing.
Huh?
I said, but Admiralty law is not a good thing.
Right.
I mean, there's a few good lawyers, just like there are a few good doctors, but they're the exception. They're not the rule.
Right. So the advance, I mean, if you look at society is not trusting anything anymore. We don't trust the education system. Everything has been bought and paid for by the cabal. You got to look at everything statewide, education-wise, all the deceit, all the lies. We don't know our true history hasn't been taught in a long time. A religion that's going to the gutter pretty fast, and the Catholic Church can't save that. They can't save that. And let me tell you, and here we go with another distraction on another process. Now, as the Vatican and all that happened, and then they played along with the play and made it look like he passed on, and then they bring in this new American, which all I'm going to tell you, the Vatican's going to burn to the ground, because everything that has happened in that institution, that negative entity, the only way to cleanse it is to bring it down. You can't just replace it with another pedophile and think it's going to, all of a sudden it's going to be a saint. No, It's already corrupted. So here we go again. The media is spinning something. Everybody's like, oh, look at this new pope. Look at this new. Stop giving it attention. Stop feeding into it, because that way we know it doesn't work at all. And I don't think they have money anymore anyway. But and I think they're going through everything underneath the Vatican, and our history is going to be surfaced on every level. So I think there's a big part of a shift that's going to happen with this. That guy's not going to be the Pope, whether it's an actor or whatever. We're going to see an end to this situation, how it's going to show the evidence of the Vatican, of how dirty they've been, what they've been doing, how long they've been doing it, how long they've been deceiving you.
Like we said before,
what kind of smoke comes out of their area.
We're going to need a puke bucket, like we said previously,
yes.
when they find out.
Yes, exactly. I'm over it. And so I'm over the superficial. I'm over the fake. I'm over all of it. And we're all sick of it. So as I'm saying, everywhere you look in every category right now, we're done. We're done. But to be done, stop feeding the program that they're showing you. They look on the media, and then they decide what is the important program that they're putting out there today. This Pope can kiss my ass. This fake actor can kiss my ass. So this whole process of this is just a distraction, because something is not right with the whole situation. You know it, and I know it. But it feeds the mind and makes them distract their mind on something else. It's going to end. So how this, rods of God, it'd be a good time to come in. That's all I'm going to say. So it needs to burn to the ground.
Everybody's so done with the movie.
Oh, goodness. It is. It's just a process that we just don't want to deal with anymore.
Jeff thinks it's because to get people to rely on each other. That would be nice, instead of, fighting with each other all the time, or arguing with each other all the time.
But these phases of putting an idea in your head, and then you're accepting the idea of what they're presenting in front of you as true. That needs to be completely set back, and you need to analyze everything that why they're putting out there. Why are they feeding that? What is the actual reason they want to show that? Because everything's a code, a clue, a development, and that's the thing. And this is the thing too, and I think I've talked to you about this too, Gail. When I started this, I didn't want to get involved, but I just ended up having to over and over. 5-6 years ago. But the thing is, and that was a big donut of all these truthers all around, how many there was. You know what I'm saying? It was just a big circus because you didn't know who to believe. And it was just, there's a young energy of trying to figure everything out. So it was just a whole mix of a monopoly. And now these layers of those truths are coming down. And that donut is shrunk down pretty good. You know what I'm saying? It's cleansed a lot of people. And the sad thing, it's led a lot of people because they gave a lot of hope into these truthers. And then they just dropped off and they disappeared and they made their money and they exited out the door. Yeah, and then not only that, they just didn't have any more programs to present. And the thing is, society got smart. They started to do their research. They started to get knowledge, started to dig for the truth, started to ask questions, and they didn't like that. And it made people feel uncomfortable. And now we're down to that small circle. And now to the small circle, everybody knows which ones are left. And at the end, the truth will be seen in every detail and every light of what is out there. And that's the thing. At the end, you're going to know everything. You're going to know the truth. You're going to know.
You're going to wish you didn't know is what's going to happen.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's the whole thing. At the very end, it was always going to be seen. The truth was always going to surface to the top. And that's the thing. It was never about a show. It was about being real and putting the truth out there and doing it for humanity and giving them the right information and carrying your heart for the reason why you're doing this. And the military, the sacrifice, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the hours, the agony, the visions that they had to endure, the hours of no sleep, the fatigue, the hypertension, what it's put them through. I mean, that's the whole thing. There's such a big consequence for being the front line and looking at this and seeing it and taking it in as a human in a different way and being strong enough to tower through it and hold the line. That's the thing about it. They deserve a great honor in those frontline people that are diligently doing it day in, day out, and bringing the truth out. And that's going to be seen. So across the board, So the thing is, we're all going to know the truth. It's coming. No one can stop it. But, so there's a lot of things that are changing in our future, and the technology is so advanced. How we're traveling, how we're going to live in a home, what a home is actually going to be, how we're going to eat, what kind of nutrition we're actually going to have. Are we going to have 100% nutritious food again? And to be fooled and to be eating the stuff that we've been eating for the last decades. It's everything about being honest across the board and raising an eyebrow until we see that everything is back to a noble and truthful item, that it's pure again, and true again, and honest again. So I'll take some questions.
Teresa said, I'm grateful to know that truth sets us free.
It does.
We, right now, though, people are sorting through what they think might be the truth versus what is the truth versus, I mean, there's a mixture out there from the black hats and the white hats to some extent, but I think it'll really be good when we get to the point that they have the tribunals, because then you really have you know what's going on for sure.
Yeah, but the thing is, too, there is different conscience levels that can understand it and want to see it and want to be a part of witnessing it. And then there are conscience levels of denial that is going to be out there in a vast way. And the only way that you can get them to admit is to not allow them to watch anything else but the truth.
Well, that's kind of what they're going to do. They said you won't be able to get any other. Yeah, you ain't going to have a choice in the matter. You can change the channel all you want, and you'll get the same thing over and over again.
It's going to be the same channel with the same information, and you're going to see it with your two eyes. And when I saw with Cash today, he's being very direct, very assertive, and to the point on things. And they don't even know how to handle it. They can't defend themselves anymore. They can't come out with their gags anymore on the Democratic side. Nothing is working. Because the chess pieces that are in play have their information, have their knowledge, and have the knowing of what has really been going on and is ready to expose it all. And they're ready to go to war to make sure it comes out. So, they're going after Cash pretty hard, but he's taken it like a warrior and given it right back to them, and they can't even handle it. So everything's going in a process of a train. We're getting into that rotation that's going, and everything's being exposed. And now everybody wants us to get to a speed process, but humanity is still not ready to accept certain things. They're saying, well, we're ready, but they're not. They're still stuck in the 3D and thinking everything with that is in control. It's not.
Yeah. Do you have any idea what we're supposed to have a big announcement from Trump? It says he's going to make between now and Monday. I heard something. I'll be surprised if that's what it is. But
what did you hear in all?
Well, I heard it was some kind of agreement or deal between the United Kingdom and America, and I don't, the trade related to the tariffs and all that stuff. People are going to be disappointed if that's all it is, I think.
Well, when I looked at that and I was feeling that energy coming from that, there could be an agreement with that, but I don't think that's the final situation. I think it has to do with our economy and setting forth the fruits, as I call them, setting forth the fruits for the people. So I believe it's a large step towards that direction. So I think there's not just one thing involved. I think it's basically a check mark that's these certain things are done, and now we're at this level, and now these are things that are going to be implemented. So I think it's 3 or 4 several, but I think they're in different avenues, not in just one situation. So I'm sure it's part of a trade, part of an agreement to make the world better, but also bringing in closer to the debt situation and closer into the abundance situation. And then the birth certificate,
Oh,
the
the hand.
release,
It's all connected to the
freedom process of that.
It's all connected to the courts and the judicial system, the birth certificate, because as soon as a cop stops you and charges you with anything, it goes from a statute to a bond.
Well, I think
That's
from a long time ago that they're already in training for, I say, their new judges, the ones that were going to adapt to the Constitution the proper way, and I think they're going to replace all these judges, and they're going to lock them out. They're either going to be on buses or they're going to be locked out of the buildings.
I heard there was 350 some odd judges that were just put in position.
That was in effect a long time ago. They knew that they already knew that they were going to do that.
And all of those judges got to go. But the whole system's got to go. The Admiralty maritime law has got to go. We have to go back to common law because the legal system, the way it stands right now, it's all about the money, and it is a business just like everything else. We just haven't seen it quite as vividly in the judicial system as we have in the healthcare system because of the pandemic, which was a fake pandemic, but that told us a lot right there. So we haven't seen that in all of the other systems that are going to come down too. Because of the corruption beyond belief.
Right. You know what I also am picking up too, and I just feel this, and then I don't feel this chaos, and they're trying to give you a fear basis on food, and we're not going to have supplies and all that stuff. And I definitely don't believe that. I already think that's already set and forth in a plan for everything when cities goes down, where they can go, where they can get food, and how much supply they have, as if things go down if they need to. But like I said, I think everything is rolling in a process, and you guys got to look at how smooth the government, the white hats, have already gotten rid of a lot of foreigners that shouldn't have been here. Okay, very dangerous, and they've done it very smoothly. And of course, late at night, during the day, but their training is always specific on their direction and casualty and getting in and getting out and taking them out and bringing them in and then getting out of the situation and getting out of the area. I want you to see how smooth that has looked, how smooth that has happened. And to think that as we go in the future, it's going to be harder. No, I don't think so. They've already took out the top people that they need out. All you got is the minions that don't know anything anymore that's left, and they're going to run. They have information, and they already know where they're at, what they're doing, and where they are. So it's not as hard as, again, a 3D process is trying to make it look. It's not that way. So, you're going to have a lot of scattered people here or there, but this whole system is set up as a chess game for situations as they occur, and they know how to implement and how they need to take care of them and what they need to do. I believe that that's going to be on a vast level, and people will be shocked on how well it's going to be set forth. I don't believe there's anything to fear. The only thing that you need to fear, and the only thing that I see the problem, I want you to take the scenario of this situation. If you didn't have the liberals, okay, well, let's put this aside. You didn't have the liberals. You didn't have the way they were mentally off and how they freak out on things. And you just put us in the group. We'd be fine. We'd be like, this is going to be easy, right? Even the military, even the police departments, the only problem that they have to be careful on is people freaking out. And they know the ones that are going to do that. And they're the liberals. When they don't get their way, they react. Or they act like 2-year-olds. Or they do something stupid. But now there's repercussions for that, and they're finding out, okay? So this is done in layers. But the thing is, you're still not going to avoid the mentally ill society that's going to react in bad ways because the Democrats have showed them you can get away with anything. Well, now we're coming in, the red pill's coming in like the big brother and having to say, no, we ain't doing that no more. And they're acting like spoiled brats. And they don't have the power. They're not strong in this. They can't fight. They're dealing with Generation X that doesn't play games. So that, that's the whole problem. It's not, as you see society break down, what's going to happen in cities, those are the people that are going to be naked in the streets, freaking out on the subways, jumping off bridges, or freaking out because they don't have internet or they can't access their phone.
That addiction will be very I have a little of that myself, I have to admit.
Yeah,
with the phone.
But as you put your conscience into plan A and plan B, and you're a survivor, you're going to go through the survival process and know that there's an end to it. For them, it's just freak out, freak out, freak out. And then that sets a chain reaction in society. And that's what they're trying to avoid.
Well, I'll tell you what, too. These people that are against Trump, they're against the American people, and they don't even know it.
Well, it's a program. Yeah. And that's what they're doing. It's just the whole process of this program that's presenting in that way.
It sounds so, it's so crazy when you think about it. Here you have somebody that's actually trying to help the people by going after the corruption that is cheating the people of trillions of dollars. And there's this other whole group who is, they can't say anything good about Trump, and everything that he does is bad. I know it's a program, and it's a Trump derangement syndrome for that matter, but it's also people just aren't seeing they're not looking of the corruption.
They're not looking at reality.
Yeah,
they're looking at the illusion and delusion. And they have, our military and our police department has to deal with the illusion and the delusion. And it doesn't matter who you are. That's you don't want to deal with the psych wards. You don't want to deal with the psych people, but we have no choice to get through it because that is what the Democratic Party created.
Yep.
They created him. They don't care about him either. They used them, and now they threw them away, and now it's our problem. I'm just telling you.
It's just the same thing they did with the, gaining the following of the black people, only to find out they're the ones that, started and did the KKK and have done absolutely nothing to help that group of people. Because they don't care about any people. It doesn't even matter what color you are. They just switch around in order to get people to fight with each other.
Right.
But anyway, somebody's asking, what % of people do you think have realized how bad the church really is?
You know what? I really believe it's climbing. People are waking up.
Yeah.
And what I really am surprised is the young generation is really waking up to it faster.
Are they?
Yeah.
Good, because I don't see that many younger people.
Yeah, I see it in the younger generation. They're not going to church. They're not involved in church. They're not getting down that road. They're not going down that program. The elders are usually the hardest because that's the program for a while, and then Generation X is kind of stepping away from it too. So there's a good percentage, and all it is they need some black and white reckoning, because it is with these pastors that make tons of money, and then they're involved in how they're involved in trafficking and how they got involved in all this stuff too, and how each of the churches put a percentage out there so they can make money. and still contribute and look the other way from all the other stuff that's going on. Wait till there was a big deceiving society on the process. So all that needs to come crashing down. And then you see these small local churches that are not part of that, their intentions are true. When they put their money into things, it was on their trueness of taking care of people. These smaller community churches can get back together and actually take care of their community, because that's what the church was supposed to be formed on, of taking care of your community and taking care of each other and going back to that basis. These bigger churches forgot about that. They took the fruits and never gave it back to the people. That's the thing.
They've been robbing us blind our whole life for generations and generations. I don't know what happened to Renetta. I don't know if you know her, Jenny, but Renetta Jones was, I don't know, she was suicide. They killed her, undoubtedly. She was uncovering too much stuff. She was a person that was able to look at different rock formations and see the entity behind it.
Or maybe she is under protective.
That's a possibility too. Yeah, that would be, yeah. I don't know how she died or whatever, but I just know that she, they said that she died. Now, like you said, she could have went into witness protection, but I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm getting more of the protective process.
That would be okay. That would be good to know, because she sure didn't deserve to die. Here's a question for you. What is Jenny's take on Pam Bondi? I am not thrilled.
Well, they're all actors. They're all playing a part, and they're supposed to play that part to a certain capability. I honestly believe that she might be someone that we don't recognize from the past, but I think is from the past, and is playing that part. But yeah, I kind of believe that she's not who she is, but is she playing a part? I think so. To reveal things in a different way.
So Pam Bondi is basically somebody, a soul undercover that probably has been here in the past, an ancient soul of some sort that is here to participate in
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Information.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Somebody says Congress is corrupt. That's why it's got the word con in it.
There you go.
It's a great way to con people. Yeah. Somebody's asking about this. Are they going to clean up HUD? I closed my business 2 months ago and they should adjust my rent where I live, but they are giving me a hard time about it. They are taking over 50% on my Social Security. I know exactly what that's like. I mean, Social Security wasn't created for people. It was supposed to be supplemental, and there's supposed to be all these other programs that it's supplemented.
Here we go. I'm going to tell you why this is the thing, because we haven't gotten to the part of this cleaning up the states. We're dealing with the government process of it, and I'm waiting for the government to say, the states, you're not getting your funding for this or this until this is done. There's a lot. So the statewide is corrupted in different ways, and the government has to call them out on it and say, until this is done, you're not getting funding. So what they're doing, they're leeching on to the citizens. It's a trickle effect right now. So once the states are called on what they're doing corrupt, then we can start prosecuting them and taking them down for what they're doing. I mean, they're acting like a mob with the HUD, period. So the states need to be accountable, and they need to start to be called in, and they need their money pulled until they do what is supposed to be happening by the Republicans the right way, and the Congress that they're bringing in and implementing the new laws. the state still thinks they're going to be in charge of playing these games, and they're not. They're going to pull the carpet underneath them soon.
Okay. Conspiratory said that it's not looking good with Pam Bondi, that people don't like what they're seeing. Part of that is because they promised to release the Epstein files. They still haven't released them.
Right. But again, was that part of the play? Why? And how it's being leaked, and why it's urgent to look at it a different way. And I need to look at the process in that way.
So somebody says it's still asking her. They're really wondering about her. Or she better do some action here lately. Somebody says, is she good or bad? I guess we'll find out. I like to think she's good, but I haven't seen it yet.
I think she's playing. She's playing the Elon Musk pro. You can't tell what side she's on. It's a chess game. Elon Musk is good at it. Trump is good at it. I mean, it gets your mind scrambled of which direction they're going in. So I'm just saying, I think it's part of the process.
Here's, I guess, it's not about trade, and Trump will most likely announce on Monday. It is about our financials. I hope you're right, Baja girl. I hope you're right.
Yeah.
And you know where I heard that about trade? That came from Chat GPT.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
That's
I'm not relying on that on anything.
No.
You know, and that's the thing. You guys don't use that as an information source, because everything is like set up. Let's like go back to Google. You keep doing something like that, guess what it's going to do? It's going to get you to think that that's a source. Think on your own, listen to your own instinct, do your own research, because if you start to rely on that, and now you're seeing these readers that are relying on information from there. I'm like, come on. One spirit going, hey, did I get fired? You're listening to it.
I saw everybody doing this, listening to it, and getting some responses were kind of interesting. And so I thought I'd try it. And I got the worst. I mean, I did not like the experience I had, just like that there.
Right.
Trump's going to talk about trade. What? Anyway, it just gathers information from the internet.
It does. And it's just, the process is, you know, the whole thing about it is think on your own. I mean, they're of course bringing another source that's trying to tell you how you need to think, and this is right or this is wrong. And trust me, I toyed with that chat, and I'm like, well, shit, it doesn't even have the answers that I need, or even figure out to the conscience that I have. It's just like, no, here we go again. It's limited again. It's limited what it's put the program into it. So yeah, nope, wasn't impressed. Not at all.
Here's a question for you. Is it the end of Islam? Your thoughts on it?
Oh, I think it is. And I think that fake ass prophet that they brought in after the Catholic Church screwed up, and they used that as a distraction. And now he's claiming he's got this noble person, and he's going to change the world. I'm like, where the fuck have you been for the past 40 years? If you're so noble and you have all this knowledge and it's all this information, it just, everything's a skit play. And like I said, they just pop up out of the blue like a skit, you know? So that's another one I wouldn't give any energy or time into.
Okay, what about this one? Just a guesstimate, what percent of illegals have left? Do you have any idea on that?
I believe it's happening, and I can feel that presence is happening.
What percentage, though? Can you apply a percentage? I don't know.
35%.
Maybe.
Okay. We still got a lot to go on that, guys.
That's yeah. That's a best guesstimate.
Yeah.
How smooth will the change be in Europe, like the Netherlands, the most cabal country?
The what? What was the question?
Okay. How smooth will the change in Europe? The Netherlands is the most cabal country. The Netherlands. It's pretty bad. Okay, we
How
have
smooth
somebody.
will change be in Europe? You know, they have to do something very overnight, very quick, and very dominant to take over. I think a little of what Trump is talking about might set that pace that needs to happen. So I think it's not something that has to happen very slow. I think it has something that needs to happen overnight in a very fast and dominant way.
Okay, I have Maria saying here that BS, no proof of what you are proclaiming here, more word salad. Maria, you have the option of leaving the channel. You don't have to listen to any of this. Low vibe comments are not welcome here. Thank you very much. Anyway. Fisker is going down. Who's that? Let's see. I'm scrolling for questions here. If you see one that I haven't seen before I get to it.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything on the screen that I'm looking at.
Okay. Maria, that's enough. You're getting blocked.
I didn't even know what she said.
Well, you know, who needs this kind of negativity? Getting dollars, money to spew your BS, lies, and false beliefs not happening. Who's getting money here, Maria? You're full of it. You don't know what you're talking about. Leave the channel. You're not welcome here anymore. Go. I'm trying to, there it is. Bye. Okay, here's a nice solar flash and bifurcation would be nice about now to take it. Coming already. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a gift.
Really?
At this point, I don't think anybody fears death anymore. We're out on things.
Really?
I'm just saying. No one isn't fearful of that anymore.
No, it definitely might be the way to go. No, I shouldn't say that. But, oh, I don't know anything about. Do you know anything about the new pope? I don't know anything about the new pope. I saw a picture of Trump with the a pope outfit on, and everybody's going, "What in the heck's he doing that for?" And it was for the
he's mocking
purpose of mocking and taking down the Jesuits. I mean that that pope was a Jesuit, and if you read the oath that those people take, oh my God. It would make you sick.
Like I said, the Catholic Church is the one who brought forth the devil's Bible. What does that tell you?
Everybody knows that they've been lied to about everything, but not their religion. Don't you know that, Jenny?
I know, right?
Everything's a lie, but when it comes to the religion, that's all true. No, unfortunately, it's been full of lies as well, and a way to divide people. My religion's better than your religion, yada yada yada. You got a way to incorporate fear in people. If you don't do this, you're going to hell. If you're from one religion, if you're a goyim, you're worthless, and we can do all kinds of nasties to you. Or if you're an infidel, we can. I mean, it just and these come from religions, and not to mention the Christians when they did the Inquisition and stuff like that, and were called heretics. And
that's why I love debating these religious people, it's so fun because once you pinpoint an area that they've been taught by a program and they don't have a real answer for anything, then they just really freak out on every process of things. So it's all about manipulation and fear and control and damnation and throwing stones and knives as much as they can to have you not think outside the box on your own. So it gets ridiculous.
Churches have been robbing us for generations. That's true.
Yes, they have.
And
Did
they
you see
never
the
had
church where they have the card machine now? You can just, oh my gosh.
and they don't have to pay taxes either.
No.
And they also pushed the program during the pandemic too, because they received money to do so.
Of course. They're all in cahoots together. Every part of that was. So that's going to be a big ouch for the churches when that comes out. So, yeah. It's crazy on the whole process of this and everything. Like I said, I mean, I think the desperation for society, that the world is ready for the flip in not being sick anymore, the flip in not being tied down to financial debt and debt alone in the enslavement, and releasing our control over birth certificates and having control of who we are, as a being, and deciding to make our own rules and being responsible, but also being given the freedom, the will to eat what we want, plant what we want, and decide where we want to live and how we want to live. Those choices are coming. And living independently in a different way.
Well, that's a strange question. Is Bondi John Benet Ramsey?
Yes, I think so.
Woohoo! My. That's a yes to that question. I heard that from somewhere else. I wasn't sure, so you just confirmed it for me. Do you know anything
about looking from the past of what people have disappeared and either were supposed to have died off, and now they've been waiting for this repercussion and seeing these days to come for all the evil to go down, and they all had to play their part and be patient with it too.
Okay. Someone was asking, do you know anything about plans for Memorial Weekend? And then there was another one about the 4th of July events.
I keep telling and I keep saying I think there's going to be a big event once things are revealed to a certain point, that there is a celebration in Texas. I just get it over and over. It's not going to be in Washington, D.C. anymore. So I just feel the Texas energy is strong with that.
Oh, somebody's question about Trump gave Pam Bondi a soccer ball. I just kind of assumed.
And that soccer ball came from Putin.
Putin gave it to
Yes.
Trump, and now Trump gave it to Pam Bondi.
Yes.
To take it from there. So that was information for her to
Yes.
There's so much information to expect these people to go through it all as quickly as we want them to is not really very realistic.
Yep. And these people don't sleep.
That's why some of them look like these big dark rings under their eyes.
Yep. So yeah.
I'm looking for more questions here.
So another thing I was talking about is the ocean and paying attention. And like I said, these storms are going to be severe that are going to come, that I think possibly next week. The weather is getting pretty hot, even for where I'm living, as soon as it is. So I think there's a lot of weather that's going to start to hit us. And so, like I said, water. It's going to be, it's not going to be a safe place for a while. And then I see a lot of mud slides and a lot of, a lot of activity in that area. So, I mean, we're dealing with a crazy spring going into summer, and it's gonna be a ride.
How can we have peace on earth when the Middle East are constantly fighting? They never stop fighting. I don't know what their problem is, but it's ridiculous. Wow. Isn't that nice? I think they're talking about the illegal.
Massachusetts is putting them permanent housing, so they shelter look empty. It's a trick for taxpayers for funding without realizing. Well, that'll end too. Like I said, the states are going to be frozen, and they ain't going to have access to their own accounts either. Their credit cards are going to get canceled to zero too.
Good. Oh, somebody thinks that somebody threatened Pam Bondi.
Untouchable.
You're bound to be get threatened in a position like that. It's just, but I'm sure she's heavily protected, like you said.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, untouchable. Yeah, tornadoes will be a part of it too. A lot of rain, a lot of wind. Okay. A lot of different colors in the sky. A lot of night activity. So.
Oops. Well, I see a lot of comments, but not very many questions. So if you have any questions, be sure to add them because we're going to be running a little. Oh, we got 20 minutes yet. I'm going to put this one up just because it's funny. At this point, I wouldn't mind an actual alien invasion.
I know, right? We'll take anything, right? Anything right now. Like, hey, bring it on.
Yeah, really.
Whatever it is, we can handle it better than what we got now.
Okay, we got the Vatican's gold. That's true. That could be. It is funny that it did strike me as unusual that this Trump's name was Leo. Did that hit you at all?
Trump does a funny thing. He sends code messages and things to power that he thinks wants to be particular Leo. Huh.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. But this guy, Jeff says the Pope was tied to Obama through Chicago.
Well, I'm sure he's not a good one. I don't think anybody that works for the Vatican at some point would think that everywhere you look in that field is corrupted and is pedophilia. It is disgusting. It is sick.
You think they're going to send the rods of God to the Vatican?
Yes.
I sure hope so.
Okay,
when?
With it.
The sooner the better. Pull it.
And then there was fire.
Yeah, that's kind of true too. Here's somebody saying, at this point in time, many of us can smell the BS from a mile away. That's good. Your discernment's getting better and better all the time. Okay, what's this one here? Hey Jenny, that big black hole in your drawing in the Pacific Ocean, is that the undersea volcano on the Juan de Fuca plate?
Okay, the big black hole in the drawing in the Pacific Ocean, is it the undersea volcano on it? No. It's an opening of a plate as it opens and stretches and the water goes in it. And then what was funny, because how the water goes down, like the water's below, and then as they show it, and then it ends up coming back. So, and as it comes back, it says it takes the coast, and it's like a poltergeist situation, where you know how it comes back and takes the house and gobbles the house up. And that's the kind of situation that I see as the water disappears, and then what happens is the water disappears, it's gone, and it goes down, and then as it comes back up, then it comes back up on the surface and takes those houses. So there's stuff going on beneath us in levels. And that's why you're seeing different species that we've never seen before. So there's an opening that's happening.
Okay. Yeah, that is so true. In the Vatican, they talk about a vow of poverty. What a freaking joke. Gold is everywhere in the Vatican.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you have a vow of poverty when you're living in a luxury mansion, basically, is what it boils down to. And you're fed and everything. So how is that a vow of poverty? What a joke. Okay.
We can answer a couple more, and then I think we're getting at 9:45.
Yeah. Well, I don't see that many more. The early church men did not become priests for spiritual purposes. It was a political position. They choose purchase a bishop's seat. That's the problem with everything on this whole planet. Everything is, you've got enough money, you can get anything and do anything you want. And I hope this is true, Baja girl.
Yes.
It's definitely what we want.
We don't need it.
I can't go through these fast enough. Okay, here's something that people are saying there's some big, deep, dark hole in the Atlantic. Is that a threat to us?
No. It's an opening that's creating. And I talked about these plates that are opening, that are like 5 plates. I just believe that the waters below, the waters above, we're having the existence of it's surfacing, and things that have been hidden for a long time are now finally surfacing.
Yeah, I haven't seen that drawing.
Yeah. So, yeah, things are changing.
Yes, they are.
So, yeah. So.
Okay, here's a question for you. What areas is Jenny talking about regarding bad weather and lots of water?
California.
What about the East Coast?
Louisiana. And I don't get Florida because I feel like there's something preserving there. And up by New York. Mexico is not going to be good either.
Yeah, I heard this was true. Area 51, around 1,200 children were saved recently.
Good.
When will we get to meet our galactic family?
When we get our shit together.
Okay, here's another question about Canada. Will Alberta be successful in separating from Canada?
I think it's going to, and I think that was part of the plan.
I think so too.
Yes, I do. So.
Somebody's asking if medbeds work on 5D level.
Yes. That's the saying, that it's in more advanced than people understand. They're not going to be throwing us old medbeds for our mindset, okay? You guys have to get outside the box on that. More advanced. Think higher technology.
Okay. Will Social Security payments be higher in June?
I feel they will.
Pardon?
I feel they will.
Okay. Well, the increase that came in April was like 2.3% or something like that. The typical something that you could laugh at in terms of actually making any difference at all.
Right.
So at first I heard that something was going to happen in May. Well, that obviously didn't happen. So maybe June, but I'm not going to hold my breath either.
Yeah. And I mean, next week I'm moving, so I'm not going to be around because I'm getting settled in a new place, and
that's going to take some time. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is, and it's going to be nice. But after I get up set up, I'm setting up a lot of new stuff and creating a lot of new stuff, because now I'm, in a different, accessible to just some different situations that are going to be a lot easier than where I am now. So, I mean, and bringing in some different programs and starting a new book.
Well, you'll have to contact me when you're good to go again if you want to.
Yeah, I will. So things are good though.
Here's what, Jenny, about 3 days ago, I awoke to this extremely white sunlight coming into my room. Everything was brilliant white.
Yes, I have been loving the sun. This is not the crappy sun we had last spring. It was crappy.
Oh, somebody else is backing you up on that, saying the sun is sending out big light waves daily.
Yes.
I got to get outside more.
Been sitting in it today.
I should have sat in it more than I did, but I get stuck in front of this computer trying to get things done. And well, there were 33. Wasn't it something like 33 sites that wanted to be taken out? How many satanic sites? I don't remember the exact number, but
they have a lot. I'm sure there's stuff they haven't even found that they still have to take out.
Yeah, and in astrology, the Leo is a lion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I was, was the 21 trillion used to build cities underground for the rich and powerful? Yeah. A lot. It wasn't for us, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I figured something out. In order for them to give everybody 5K, that amounts to about just in America, that amounts to 1.6 trillion for everybody to get 5K, every man, woman, and child. So whether that'll ever happen, who knows?
Yep, I got some great documents today for my attorney, so it's good.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, a clean break from everything, so it's good.
Yeah. Okay, will the public notice come this month?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So.
Well,
Yeah. You want to do your bell on your side?
Yeah. Okay, well, I don't know if there's any great, I don't see any other great questions at this point in time. So we can ring the bell for the children,
Yes, we
and
can.
then we can end the show. I forget sometimes, but when I remember, I do. So let's do it for the children. Ring the bell for the children.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for listening and for participating. And Jenny's information is in the description, as is mine. And stay in the light. Keep your
Yes.
vibe high. We really need that in order to flip all this stuff. If everybody just keeps your vibration up as best you can. Even though it's like we were saying from a long time ago, walk through the fire and don't let it bother you.
Right. Exactly.
So thank you, everyone. We'll see you again soon. Take care.
Good night.
Remember, we won't be here next week because Jenny is in the process of moving.
Yep.
Alrighty then. Talk to you
Okay.
later, everybody. See you
Goodbye.
again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers. Stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now. Don't look back now. Rise up. Stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers. Finding our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize the moment. Hold on tight and don't let go of all your hopes and dreams that light the way. We control our fate. Destiny awaits. We are all the actors in the stories we create. Hope will be our guide. We'll no longer hide. When we roll like thunder, feel the wonder from inside. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our